Oh shit! Hi guys, Chose My Reactions, and this video I'm going to view season 6 of the original Charm series. Yeah, it's gonna be another messy review with a whole lot of thoughts that don't really make sense. Probably going to ramble a lot. I have a lot of questions. You guys surely asked me a lot of questions. Um, if I took out all the duplicates, I believe I did, then I have like 42 questions. I'm really hoping I skipped some duplicates because, so yeah, I'm not gonna film this in one take. This review is definitely going to be edited. I'm gonna need breaks in between questions. I'm gonna try my best. You probably already know that I'm not that good at reviews, but once again, just to repeat myself, I'm not a professional reviewer. I'm very bad at giving my thoughts. I also don't have the best memory, so some questions, I'm sorry if my answer disappoints you. Just keep in mind that I only watched this season one time. I have seen some clips again, but on the emphasis of clips. I haven't edited the season even yet, so I don't remember everything that clearly. I mean, I know, of course, I know what went on. I know what happened. It would be weird if I don't remember anything. So yeah, okay. Let's just. Oh wait. So this review is gonna have some different topics. We're gonna start off with just season 6 in general, then gonna delve deeper into Chris, then we're gonna go a little bit, gonna see what's up with season 7 with the next season, and finally there were also some general questions, I guess I should call them, so questions who are, you can apply to the whole series, so not just on season 6. I hope I put them all in the right category. We shall see. Alright, first question. Your overall thoughts on this season and the finale? Well, it's no secret, I really enjoyed this season a lot. It's definitely one of my favorite seasons. We'll see how we'll rank them later on in this video. I think, if I would think about how much I enjoyed them, it's definitely one of the more consistent seasons for me. There was only one episode that I didn't enjoy. Other episodes, I believe I enjoyed them all. Maybe there were some things that I wish they would do different. But generally speaking, I had a blast. I really loved watching it. And I was a little bit worried before starting the season. I noticed some comments of people who don't really like the season or outright hate it. And were basically telling me that they, can't wait for me to start with season 7. By the way, I can already see. I have lipstick on my teeth. Wow, that's charming. I was about to say, if you see lipstick on my teeth, you're gonna have to deal with it. Let me just fix that up. Yeah, let's see how long it will last before I have again lipstick on my teeth. Oh well. Anyways, what I was trying to say is that I was nervous about the fact that, there were some people not really looking forward to the season. Not really nervous about not liking the season, I mean a little bit, but mostly nervous about, what if I'm gonna like it. But luckily there's still a lot of you who do like the season, just as me. Or we're just, still interested to see my thoughts on it. I already said this a dozen of times, but I'm gonna say it again. There are more shows where I really enjoy seasons that a lot of people hate or outright despise. Once again, season 4 of Angel, one of my favorite seasons. So yeah, so I thought it was a very good season. I also appreciate that it has an overarching, story arc. With the whole Chris trying to prevent that Wyatt will turn evil. That's the running theme throughout the season. I like longer story arcs. We don't really see that a lot with Charm, so that was nice. That was a nice change. And I think, from a writing's perspective, we got a satisfying conclusion. And the finale. The finale is also one of the best finales in my opinion. No, I'm not gonna get emotional again, but it was a very good finale. Like I think I already said that the second half was my favorite, best half. It felt like a movie. It felt like what I meant with that comment is that it felt like one episode. It really felt like one larger story that kept building up. I was wondering. At the first part was mainly about Gideon trying to get Wyatt away from them, and the second half was more about Okay, now he has White. Will he be able to kill him? Will Chris be able to protect him? Will Chris be able to get back to the future? And of course, the whole, Chris passing away and Leo taking revenge uh, because of that. Killing Gideon because of that. It The episode built it up. There were still, I guess, maybe a few lighthearted moments. I remember I smiled a little bit, but I was mostly stressed, but stressed in in a good way. I don't think there were a lot of moments in the episode didn't really work for me. I think the only moment that I you know felt a little bit flat felt a little bit flat to me was when Phoebe got hurt and Phoebe Paige was calling out for Leo when they were in front of the house. That really reminded me, and maybe it was on purpose, of the scenes between Prue and Piper in the season 3 finale. But this one wasn't as good. I don't know. I was still stressed, but I was just stressed because Phoebe was hurt. I wasn't really stressed because of how well or well acted or well, how very tense that scene felt. It just felt flat in comparison to the season 3 finale. So yeah, not sure what exactly happened there, but it didn't ruin the episode for me. So a very good finale. So does this finale rival All Hell's Break Loose? Well, I already kind of answered that. So it is a good contender. I feel I can give a better answer after I rewatch the finales. I still haven't rewatched the season 3 finale. I just can't. I just can't. Not yet, anyways. I can understand that I can definitely understand if people prefer the season 6 finale to in comparison to the season 3 finale. For me, I still believe, from what I remember, that the season 3 finale is better. Mainly, even though that we still had some very good acting in the season 6 finale, especially from Brian, I believe, and Drew, those two. And, Brian really killed his scenes after what happened to Chris, and he was so mad, not just sad, but he was furious, and how he was attacking everything on the attic, how he was throwing things around using his magic, and then also not just as the Leo that we know, but also as this mirror Leo version. How those two interacted while they were dealing with Gideon. The acting was amazing, but I still have a very special place, and I'm biased for those scenes between Shannon and Holly in the season 3 finale. So I think mainly because of that, and that infamous hospital scene that almost broke me down, well, almost basically broke me down. That's still my favorite finale. Favorite episode of the season. Well, my the first episode popped into my mind was episode 14, I believe. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I think that's my favorite episode, not just because of the ending with that shocking reveal where I finally found out what's up with Chris. Oh, wow. It was not just the final scene that really sold me, but also the scenes before that. I enjoyed the scenes with the magic school, and there were a lot of funny moments, very well executed. Piper's sassiness was once again on point. The whole running gag with people, having their head cut off, but they are still alive, even though they don't have a body anymore, so they're just heads talking around. Piper dealing with those students, also Paige having to deal with them, trying to sort of teach them, but they're a whole lot of mess. It was just an exciting new set, and even though now I'm kind of conflicted about the magic school thing, meaning that at some point it felt a little bit too Harry Potter to me, for that episode I just enjoyed it fully, 100%. And that, so even before the final scene, those scenes were just great. I think it's going to be one of the episodes I'm going to rewatch the most. And then the final scene, after all the fun we had. I mean, even before the final scene, when we get to see this glimpse of the future with Phoebe, that little Chris and Phoebe being pregnant, expecting a girl, Paige being a teacher, I believe. That was also, before that, I remember I was like, okay, how many times are we going to see Phoebe dealing with demons? And like, we get it now. But then when we finally got to see that future scene, it's like, okay, we're going to see the future again, alright. And then that transition of little Chris to, like, adult Chris. Then that was the first time, because I'm that slow, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. That transition, did they just that was very well done. And I also like how soft, I guess, Chris was in that scene, like adult Chris, the way he looked to Phoebe. And he was just like very calmly, very sweetly just asked her, for help, that they, I don't know. He was already different. Before that, he was always so on edge, tense, very understandably. But that was one of the scenes where it just seemed, I don't know, there was some, it just felt special, the way they looked at each other, which made me even more confused. And I was begging for confirmation. I was begging to make it clear, um, that he is in fact the White's little brother. And then we got that in the final scenes. We got that. Um, yeah, I mean, you've seen my reaction, so I don't think I have to, get into that again. But yeah, very good episode. Least favorite episode of the season. It's got to be the most easy question that I have. Yeah, definitely Three Blondes. I'm not gonna explain again. I don't want to make people upset again. So yeah, honorable mention. The honorable mention is going to be episode 10 of season 6, Crisscrossed. That's the honorable mention. That's I say honorable mention because it's definitely a very important episode, but I always cringe whenever I see the episode title. Not because of the episode, but just because of me. Because now that I know about Chris, I feel very stupid that I didn't even figure it out. I wasn't really coming up with theories or anything. I was always just like, oh, okay, so he really wants to make sure that Wyatt doesn't turn evil. Oh, he really is one of the good guys. But other than that, I didn't really like. I now it's just cringy. Like, how did I not even think about him being a family member or being a son of them? But I say honorable mention because I feel it might be it might even become my favorite episode of the season now that I have that information. Now that I pretty much know, the the most important parts of it, I can. If I rewatch it, I'll be more able to pick up the clues, to make more sense of it, and also gonna, appreciate even more the focus, on Chris and his relationship with his fiance that also had a tragic end. So yeah. Favorite new mythical creatures we saw this season. I'm gonna go with the dragons. I don't know. I have a soft spot for dragons. I just really didn't expect for the dragon to come out of the television. And for Wyatt, to just do that so casually. I mean, we know that he's very powerful, but still, I was not ready for that. And I was also kind of imagining, like, oh my god, if I had that power, how many of my favorite characters will just walk around making so much mess around. Ugh. But I don't know. It's always instantly epic whenever there's a dragon on screen. So I'm gonna go with that one. The gremlins, like what are the blue creatures? Yeah, I'm not a really fan of those. Yeah, the others, I mean, they're alright, but the dragon just sticks out for me in the in a very good way. What did you think of Gideon, and did him being a villain work for you? Well, Gideon, I do think he is a good character. Not good that he's a good person, but he was an interesting character. I mean, I can't stand his guts, and if Leon wouldn't have killed him, oof. But I think he was a good villain for the show. I do think some things they could have, done differently. A patron, I believe, commented that he or she would have preferred that we would have found out at the same time as the others, as the charmed ones, as Leo, as Chris, that he is the one behind, that he is this great evil that will be, probably be responsible for turning Wyatt evil. I have to say I agree. Even though it was I guess also interesting to see how he's trying to make sure that they won't find out, that he is trying to get rid of Wyatt. I'm imagining, like, what if they didn't do that? What if we did have a focus on Gideon. We building him up to be a very sympathetic character. Maybe seeing him more, being involved with the students at school, being this also some kind of. I mean, I know that Chris was a wildlife, but also being a little bit of a guide for the child ones. I mean, as like for the how do you say it? The tribunal, was it tribunal? Episode, with the floating heads. There, for example, I was very distracted because I assumed that he was working together with Barbus to make sure that the child ones wouldn't have their powers. I figured, wouldn't it be great if they don't have their powers anymore as a punishment, because that way they can't protect Wyatt as well against him. But that wasn't the case. He wasn't involved with Barbus. It wasn't really, it wasn't his plan or anything. He was there truly trying to defend the child ones. He wasn't doing some shady business. So after that I was like, oh, whoops. So I'm gonna have to watch that one and look at it, without having those without having these bad thoughts. So I wish, we would have more scenes like that without knowing beforehand that he wants to get rid of Wyatt, or like kill Wyatt, to just put it that way. I mean, that's basically what it is. Make him a character that when this reveal would have happened, that we would have been shocked as hell, but not just shocked as hell, but maybe even understand him a little bit more. Because I mean, I think I've said this before, but I don't get me wrong. Yeah, no one should have tried to kill Wyatt, but I do believe that there are characters that believe that there's no other way to prevent this imbalance, to prevent the whole world being turned into ashes. I do believe that there are characters who are truly that terrified, truly that desperate to prevent this, that they will go as low to kill a child. I just wish that they would have showed that even more. They would have. I mean, I don't think it's possible to be like, oh yeah, I'm not mad at you if you want to kill Wyatt. I mean, I don't think they would have been able to pull that off. They'd be like, oh man, that's messed up. I understand, just messed up. I mean, I would have always been like, wait, what are you doing? But, like, I'm bad at explaining this, but I guess in short, like I said, I wish that we would have found it out just as them at the same time. Maybe when Phoebe was doing that old charting process, trying to find out how the police tries to, work it out. At the same time as her, we kind of wondering, like, who is the suspect? Who could it be? And that maybe at some point we were like, could it be Gideon? And then we were like, no, it can never be Gideon. We'd be that convinced that couldn't be him. But at the same time, it wouldn't be something totally unexpected. Like maybe in episodes before that, they would hint that he will be capable of going far, or even too far, to make sure that the greater good, that the world remains protected. I guess that's kind of my thoughts on it in a very messy way. So yeah, good character, but they could have done more with him. Did you like the twist that the main villain of the season was an elder? I like that twist, the elders, most of the time I pretty much see them as a joke. At the beginning I was very curious towards them. I was quickly getting annoyed at the fact that they didn't really give us a lot of information, or they weren't really helping out that much. And of course the whole Piper and Leo can't be together, blah 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 nonsense. And when we did finally get to see an elder, I remember that I was disappointed. I remember that I was like, you're an elder? You're one of those elders who we've never seen before. Who the child ones couldn't even meet. In that episode where they were, in the clouds. White Lighter world or whatever. So it's interesting that the villain in this case is an elder, and then like this very, how do you say? I like that twist. I like that instead of I guess I can take them more seriously now, like a little bit more seriously. I guess I can take the bad elders more seriously. So it does work from that perspective. I do believe, that he's truly an elder. I wouldn't even say gone wrong, because the elder that Leo was talking with, the elder who was just telling Leo basically to just, calm down, focus on your other children, your own son isn't as important as your other children around the world. What even was he talking about? I was so disgusted, but it just shows that Gideon isn't this very specific case. I think there are a lot more elders who would have done literally the same as Gideon. They would have done the same, but I guess they're just too lazy. Again, just this should just retire already. I think instead of the elders, we need some, I don't know, like youngsters. Where are the youngsters? Maybe the youngsters can do some more. But I like the twist. I think it was a good idea. The writer should give himself a shoulder on the pat. Shoulder on the pat. Pat on the shoulder. What do you think will happen to Magic School now that Gideon is dead? Paige is going to become a teacher, just as we've seen in that glimpse of the future. And maybe, or maybe it's just some wish I have, maybe she will end up as the new head of the school, headmaster, I believe, of the school. That will be a good arc. I mean, Paige is very passionate always about improving herself as a witch, about getting stronger, about teaching herself new techniques, new combat, new ways of of fighting against demons, even doing some kind of combo moves, which I really appreciate. And a lot of times she surprised me to a like, oh, that's a nice move, wow. So as a teacher, that makes a lot of sense that she would teach others to protect themselves and to and also show herself that she is able to prevent people of having this sort of addiction to magic or using it for the wrong way, as unfortunately didn't really work out with Richard. So maybe she can now succeed in teaching this to children. So maybe not as headmaster now that I think of it, because headmaster, I don't think they really teach that much. So I don't know. I do think we still see Magic School. I mean, even though like I said, I'm sometimes conflicted on it, I do think it should stay in the show, but it shouldn't be the main focus, We can have some storylines involved in it. I mean, they already introduced it. We already know that it's there. We already know that there are a lot of magical beings. The show has been having more and more mythical beings. So they might as well stick with it now. I just want them to pick something and and stick to it. That's something I'm maybe gonna delve deeper into. Later in the review, that there are sometimes story points that I feel they should have dropped. They should have dropped off or should have explored more. So I feel like they can do that here. If they use the Magic School to expand even more on Paige's character, I think that's a good case. So I think it's gonna stay. Hopefully it's not going to be taken over by some kind of evil. Really hope not. So I think Paige, gonna be a teacher and maybe gonna be the headmaster there. If she won't be the headmaster, like if we didn't have that heartbreaking ending in the finale, then maybe I would say Leo. No, but that's not gonna be the case now that Leo is. I don't know. Maybe he's gonna. Maybe he's gonna go through some dark periods. I would have counted it. How did you feel about Phoebe losing her powers, and do you think she will get them back? She's definitely gonna get them back. Do I want her to get it back? Not right away. I am actually hoping that it will take a pretty long while before she gets them back. I'm actually hoping that maybe around midway into the season, into the next season, she will have them. I hope it will be some kind of, she's going to truly, like, I don't like that it's some punishment by the elders. So I don't really feel, it doesn't feel right to me to say that she should earn them back. But I do feel that a lot of times she lost her way as a witch. I know the majority compares Paige to Prue, but a lot of times Paige actually reminds me of the Phoebe from the earlier seasons, from season 1 and 2. Maybe not her whole personality and all that, but mainly that Paige is the most passionate about making sure that she is doing, is pursuing her fate, is passionate about her, her destiny as a child one. And I felt like in the beginning, Phoebe was that one, it took a pretty long while before Prue and Piper embraced it. And Piper still, sometimes, I mean, I think of the three of them, a lot of times she feels more that she wants to have a normal family life. Um, but Phoebe at the beginning was always like, no, this is what we have to do, and we are witches, we are the child ones, this is part of us, we can't deny that. So whenever we have those scenes with Paige where she is convincing them or being disappointed them, like, guys, what are you doing? And we have to do this and that. It really reminds me of early Phoebe. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Um, so I'm hoping that it will take a while before Phoebe has those powers, because I hope that she will rediscover her passion for the craft, her passion about, being a witch, her passion about helping people. And that's also something, I'm not sure if that's, well, I will discuss it with a different question, but, and she still has lots of ways to use magic. She could still cast spells and use potion, etc. So, it's not like she's defenseless. Um, so I'm curious what they're gonna do with it. I'm curious. I really, no, I mean that's basically that's pretty much it. I'm very curious, but I do think she's gonna get them back. How do you feel about Daryl's behavior? Do you think he'll forgive them? I understand where Daryl's coming from. I sympathize with Daryl. I'm not mad at all at Daryl. Totally not. I'm, again, keeping in mind that I haven't rewatched the episode, so I'm just jogging my very poor memory. But I was actually a little bit disappointed by the child ones. I'm more disappointed in child ones than I am in Daryl, which is not. I'm not disappointed in Daryl. I was a little bit upset that Daryl's wife had to go to Phoebe to kind of beg her to make sure that things will get a wide between them again. That things will get a wide between Daryl and the child ones. I was a little bit upset by that. I was like, why does she, like Sheila? Why does she has to go to them to make sure that they will talk with Daryl? I mean, I understand that they want to give Daryl some space. I mean, Daryl was very, very clear that he's done with them. So I wouldn't just knock on his door and be like, hey, I know you said you're done with us, but do you want to make up? I understand. But I'm not sure. Sometimes it felt, especially with both Paige and Phoebe, that they truly, truly, for some reason, do not understand why Daryl is so upset. And I'm like, how are you confused? How do you not understand this? He was literally about to die. And not just die. No. Before that, he was in this cell. He was believing that he had to take his responsibility, for something that he didn't even do. He said goodbye to his wife. Thought that he had to leave his son behind. Wow, your dad, who is a cop, is going to end up as a murderer and is going to be executed. What the hell? And the child ones are not even. They're not even that shocked by all of that. I mean, yeah, I'm happy that they were very passionate about trying to prevent that and trying to save with the trial. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know I saw that. I appreciate that. But just after that episode, I'm a little bit. You could have done a little bit more. You could have been a little bit more sympathetic. You could have at least acknowledged it more. You could have at least acknowledged that, that they took his help a lot of times for granted. He did so many things with them. He covered them so many times. And I haven't forgotten about, I think it was it this premiere? Yeah, the premiere of this season, where they actually wanted to use his soul. They asked him if they could use his soul, and he said no. And what did they do? They take his soul. I mean, I'm sorry. Not okay. I mean, luckily it worked out, but that's not cool at all. Like, there's a difference between him, agreeing to help them or proposing to help them. That's his own choice. But taking that choice away from him for something as risky as that, they know how risky their own lives are. They a lot of times, with the exception of Paige, I mean, maybe like slight moments, they wish that they had a normal life, or at least weren't as dangerous much. So to pull a human into that and then be confused or maybe even annoyed that he is done and he doesn't want to help you again, come on now. I mean, I was a little bit surprised that he, after the episode, I was a little bit surprised how hostile he seemed. But, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I understand. And then in the finale, he got kicked again. He got his ass kicked by this Mirror Chris and Mirror Leo. It was hard to watch. He was, man. Like he didn't know what was going on. He was just like, what the? Why Leo is this weird haircut, this weird look, and now he's, and then Chris, what the heck was even up with him? And I'm just getting my ass beat. I don't even know what's going on. And the chart ones show up, and I understand. So I sympathize with him. I'm not mad at him. I want to believe that he's going to forgive them, but I do hope that if he's going to forgive them, that at least we're gonna have a scene with the child ones where they acknowledge once and again what has happened to him, that they thank him for what he has done for them. I mean, they also helped him, I know that, don't get me wrong, but for the times that he covered their asses, I really hope that they will give him a little bit more credit and make it clear that that they would love if he finds it hard to forgive them, or at least try to let them prove to him that maybe even telling him that we just want your friendship back. We don't want this just so you can cover for us again. We don't just want you because you were a cop and you can help us. You don't need to do any of that. Just as you said that we are your family, you're also family for us. We also care about you and your son and Sheila. I would love a scene like that, just to let them show that we care about you, Daryl. We don't just care about you as a cop. And again, I'm not saying that I don't care about Daryl. Please don't twist my words. Please don't get me wrong. Please don't think I'm trying to say that they are only care about themselves. I'm not saying that at all. I think I'm just getting really worked up because it really hurt me to see Daryl like that. So yeah. How do you think the sisters and Leo will deal with the death of Chris? That's a fun question. Yay! How do I think they will deal? I don't even know what to say other than they will be sad. I'm just on the fence with Leo. I don't know. Like at the end, we saw him embracing, little Chris, baby Chris. We saw him smiling with Piper, so he seemed alright, for adult circumstances. I do think they will still grieve. It sounds so weird, like adult Chris. They will still grieve him, but I'm not too sure. I think they, other than grieving, it will probably, I think that Leo will have a harder time dealing with the fact that he killed an elder, that he killed Gideon, that he took vengeance, that he performed this horrible act, this evil act. I think that will be a bigger thing, haunting him. I don't know. I think of the sisters, other than Piper, of course, because Chris's mother. Jesus, I think that Phoebe is also going to have a very hard time. I think, yeah. Other than Piper, I think Phoebe's going to have a very hard time processing this. So I don't really know how to answer that question. Yeah. I hope they have some pictures of I'm not sure how that will feel for baby Chris, but I hope they have some pictures together with our Chris. Okay, next question before I go to cry. Did your opinion of Phoebe get better after her and Jason broke up and the storyline became less focused on romance? Yeah, about the whole Jason and Phoebe thing, I do have to say a little bit about that. You know that I've been editing season 5 now while I'm watching season 6. And I have to say I was a little bit. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I'm not regretting my reactions because those were my honest reactions at the time. But the Marley from this time, how does this sound? Present Marley, was a little bit surprised herself by, I mean, I'm talking to a person. I was a little bit surprised by my reaction towards them becoming a couple. I was editing. I was like, "Wow, Jesus Christ!" I was definitely not in the best moods, huh? So I feel again, I'm not taking back my reactions because those were my genuine reactions at the time. You're here for my reactions. You know how I react to the show. You're not here for I can't change that. I mean, I can record. I mean, I don't think you would be happy if I'm gonna re-record all the reactions. So I do think I was, now I do think I was a little bit too harsh on him, a little bit too harsh on them. I think I was so still mad with the whole Cole situation and how long that dragged on that for me, it felt way too fast for another relationship. Um, but in hindsight, it wasn't that fast. There were I think enough episodes between the Cole thing and Jason getting into the show. Um, and I think some of you were wondering if I didn't like it because of his role in Grey's Anatomy. That's not the case. I can understand that you were thinking that because my reaction, when Jason stepped in and I was like, oh no, it's McSteamy. I remember liking McSteamy when I was watching that show. So it's not the case. I guess I was just so ugh, I was not feeling. I was like, no, don't. I just was disappointed because I wanted the focus to be in Phoebe herself and she figure out herself what she wanted and what it meant, what it means that she didn't see certain signs about Cole, when he was the source, or how she made that choice to be this evil queen, or how it took her so long before she finally was able to kill Cole for once and for good, even though he was doing so many horrible things, before that. So I think that was one of the reasons why I was, one of the reasons, other than me just being pissed off, I guess, in that period of my life. Um, so yeah, but to finally answer your question, I do think that it helped. I have to say, the final scene between Jason and Phoebe, that was my favorite scene of the two. I know not in a bitchy way like, oh, they're finally breaking up, because to be honest, I didn't realize that would be his final scene. Not to make anyone feel bad, but I didn't realize that he would come back. I thought, he's gonna stay away for a while and then he's gonna come back and be, accept that she is a witch and be a part of the gang. So when I read the Patreon comments, I was like, oh, that broke up for good. So it's like, oh shit, I was finally, being lukewarm, I guess, and now he's gone. Oopsie. So I do feel that I enjoyed Phoebe more when she got single again. But I don't think Phoebe will ever be my favorite character. I don't think that will happen. I don't think so. But I don't hate Phoebe. I like her. I guess I just don't like it when the focus is on her. I don't. I think a lot of the times when we have Phoebe-centered episodes, I don't enjoy them, and that make it seem even more that I don't like her as a character. I do like her, even when I'm nagging about her being a little bit too selfish. I still like her. Characters are not perfect. I will be rather boring if characters were just perfect. I mean, there are definitely characters I like because they just seem flawless to me, but most of the characters have some traits where I'm like, no. So I still like Phoebe, but she's just not my number one. But yeah, it did help that I didn't have to see, so many scenes between her and Jason. That did help. What did you think of Leo's character development? This was definitely a very interesting season for Leo. We got to see another side of Leo. Leo is definitely one of the characters where I didn't expect. When he first showed up, who would have thought? Who would have thought he would still be in the show, and he would have been such a huge part of it, and he would have been like half of my favorite ships, and like a ship that creeped on me. Thirdly, when I was crying, I was like, oh shit, this ship hits me. This is real. But no. What do I think about his of his character development? I liked his character development. I like that we started off with him being furious, being angry, but not just angry like but had this very sinister undertone, and how he was being so conniving and trying to make these schemes to find out about Chris, to find out about what Chris is really up to, what Chris is really planning, what he wants to do with the sisters, what exactly, what kind of knowledge that he has. Why did he come back for the future? I really like this kind of cat and mouse game between him and Chris at the beginning, which also added later on when we realized to this tragic undertone about, at the time I enjoyed it. At the time I relished into it. I was like, yes, please, like, deal with this stupid Chris. I'm done with him. I want to know what's up. Let's get this information. Um, but then, even though he was still not too sure about Chris, um, after having those talk with Piper, he was getting a little bit more willing to to just, I guess, how do you even say it, bury the headshot for like a while. And even though he wasn't too sure about Chris, he still wanted to give him a chance. Like, okay, I'm gonna give you this chance. I'm gonna put my trust into you. And of course, it really sucked when he thought at a certain point that he was being betrayed by Chris, and once again it got bitter. And in hindsight, we can see on Chris's face. I mean, I believe we can see that he, how hurt he is. Not that this guy doesn't trust him, but his freaking dad doesn't trust him. Even though that he should know that it's kind of hard to trust you if you don't know that you are his father. And I'm not even gonna try. But also, not just that, not just in a Chris and Leo perspective, but also from this whole elder perspective, that he at the end of the previous season accepts becoming an elder. But then, even then, it took a while before he was truly accepting it, that he was even gone for a few episodes, that he was being convinced that he has to, even though he loves Piper so much, even though he loves his son, Wyatt, so much, and also Chris later on, that he feels, that has always been the case. It's nothing new. That Leo is very responsible. He knows how important it is to make sure that all charges are safe. He has the trouble sometimes being selfish, I guess. Yeah, he has trouble being selfish about thinking about, having his own life, about him spending time with family. Maybe some people think that he is selfish because he's putting all the stress on Piper and being in the like, I have to do this because I'm a white liar, because I'm an elder. But I think he has to be more selfish, and that's why I'm excited about the end of this season. So it was interesting to see him, grow into this elder, and then when we got to see him, and he was all peaceful, like, just before I found out about Chris. Then once again, another shift. He went from this old elder to realizing that, oh my god, you saw it on his face, all the things he said to Chris, like him not being a part of the family. I don't know, really hurt. That was some good acting. So it was interesting when he found out about Chris, seeing how he was so insecure and felt guilty about it. But at the same time, he was also frustrated at a certain point. At a certain point, it was like, you're so mad at me. Why are you so mad at me? Like, I'm not like future Leo. And I sided a lot with Chris, but I also understood where Leo was coming from. So it's, I don't know. He was already a father of Wyatt, but still, we still got to see him, get to know him a little bit more as a father. Still got to see him a little bit more as a father, as a dad. With Chris than just with Wyatt. I don't know. It's like I'm very bad at this, but and then at the end, like I said, we saw him accepting and becoming this elder, this stereotypic elder. At least he is actually doing stuff. But then at the end, from embracing being an elder to ending to the freaking killing an elder. Wow. You embrace yourself as an elder, and then you're gonna end up killing an elder, and not in an act of self-defense. No, straight up murdering him in cold blood. That's interesting development. I gotta say that, like, messed up but interesting. So I like those two developments. From him accepting becoming an elder, and then killing an elder, and him you know, becoming this. I guess now that I think about it, finally, yeah, I was what I was saying. I wanted him to be more selfish, and I guess he became more selfish at the end. Like I said, he said to be an elder, but at the end, when that was going on with Chris and Wyatt, and when he found out about Gideon, at that point, even a little bit before that, he was already on odds with Gideon. He made a selfish decision, and he outright made that selfish decision later on with that elder, in the bridge when the elder was telling him that you have to let this go now. You have to focus on your other child. You have to focus on all your children. No, Neo said it. He has to focus on his son, on his sons. He has to make sure that Wyatt is alright. He has to make sure that that freaking Chris can go back to the future safely. He wanted to bring Chris to the future. He wanted to see him for himself that Chris is safe. He did what Chris was resenting him for a while about the fact that he felt that Leo didn't love him as much as Wyatt. Being this white lighter, elder, that was number one for Leo. But even though that was number one, he still made time for Wyatt. Still made time for Piper. But where was Chris? Now we got to see that he made family, the whole family, the number one priority. He wasn't gonna be in a cloud doing nothing, sitting on his ass and be some kind of please. He took action. He went against what the elders said that he was supposed to do. He listened to what he wanted to do. He did what he wanted to do. And I'm not gonna say like, yeah, let's murder some people. But in this case, I'm behind Leo. I'm behind what he did. Gideon had to die. There's no alternative. We're talking about a fictional show. I can say this. He had to die. So, yeah, very interesting development. It took me a while to kind of, but he, and I think Chris saw how much Leo loved him just before he passed away. He saw it with his own eyes how much he means to his father. This was a very good development. I don't know. Thank you so much for that question. Let's move on. Do you think Piper and Leo will officially get back together? Yes. They better get back together. I think my theory is that in the next season, they're gonna, it's gonna be built up. They're gonna, I think slowly but surely, once and for all, they're gonna realize that they're each other's one and only true love. And I think they already know, they already know it on a deeper level. Especially, Leo surely knows, but Piper also, she's going to realize that even though it can get difficult, even though it will always be complicated, they will get back together, and it will help that she, because of the actions that Leo did at the final, at the final parts of the season, because that he was prioritizing his family, making sure his family was safe instead of this whole elder thing. That will, and also that she, like with the episode where they were both sleeping, and she almost, I guess, like passed as it goes, but then while Leo was sleeping, he still managed to heal Piper. That was also a moment where she was like, wait a minute, hold up, like our bond is that strong that even in that situation he's still able to save me. So anyways, they already know, but they have to say it even out loud. They have to be able to say that to each other, to fully embrace it, instead of being careful, instead of being afraid about being hurt again. And I understand, but I think in next season we're gonna get there. I think at the end of the next season it's gonna be established 100% that they are in fact endgame. We haven't watched all their heartbreak, all those moments for nothing. And then the season after that, the last season, I think they're gonna be stable, and we don't really gonna have great relationship problems with them anymore. I think the writers, because they know it's the last season, be like, maybe there's gonna be some kind of big apocalypse. I don't know. Let's give our fans something stable, something they can hold on to. We already had enough Leo and Piper drama. It's good. um, so yeah, I definitely think they will get officially back together. If you could change anything about the season, what would it be? You know what I said earlier about Gideon. You know that we will find out at the same time as the others that he is in fact the one wanted to get rid of Wyatt. I think that will make the season even better. Instead of us already knowing and seeing the characters walking around the dark like, oh my god, who is it? And then what I said, from emotional, from deep down, I would have preferred to see Chris in the future, in the happy future, being with his fiance, seeing Leo wave him off, well, with tears in his eyes, and I don't know. This very, very emotional, maybe cheesy send off of Chris being in the future, but I'm not sure if I will truly change that. I do appreciate the amazing scenes we got, so I don't know. I'm conflicted on that. Other things I would change, like with Richard. Richard had a lot of potential for me, and he was pretty much what was on my wish list for a love interest for Paige. So he fitted that quite well. And when we saw him at first in the show, I remember I was pretty excited. Like, okay, if Paige has to have a love interest, then I think he's a good fit. But later on, I was a little bit like, there's something feels off for me. Personal for me. I'm not saying it is, but for me it felt that way. And I'm still not sure if it's because of the actor. I don't want to. I mean, it's not the actor was watching. I'm not saying he's a bad actor, but there's just something about, I don't know. I just think he wasn't as charismatic maybe as other actors we had in the show. Because usually I have a weak spot for brooding characters. I love characters who are like broody and brooding and all that. But here, instead of being broody, it sometimes seemed a little bit, well, I wouldn't say boring, but I don't know. I expect a little bit more. But maybe it will change if I watch it again. I think maybe my expectation was a little bit too high. Maybe I was a little bit too excited. Like, oh my god, this is kind of what I wished for. This was kind of on my wish list. Ooh, it's Christmas. So maybe I was a little bit expecting too much. But I do think that his addiction storyline, his magic addiction storyline, I wish it would get on a little bit more development. There was this episode where we saw that we got this, how do you say it, like Dutch angle of Richard being, was it a door opening? I don't know, like being all sweaty and creepily looking. I was like, oh god, he's off to the deep end. Now we're gonna get it. And then I think the next episode we didn't see him. And then after that, I think we did see him. But then he was, 100% into his addiction, constantly conjuring Paige all kind of gifts. And I was like, huh? Like, why did we get that creepy shot to just end up in him giving Paige all those presents? Like, that's it? I thought it will do, it will get dark or something. But it really didn't get that dark. I expect a little bit more from that. Maybe if it was even like one more episode, maybe in the episode after that where it was all sweaty and we had that Dutch angle. Maybe if we saw a little bit of that, maybe even one scene where it was being built up even more. Maybe it will work better for me. I don't know. Like, that's the difficult part. I know maybe it sounds weird and I'm kind of expecting them to give us a little bit more Richard time. Well, I'm pretty sure that maybe if they did that, maybe I would have nagged that I wish they would spend less time on love interest. So, not too sure. So, Richard, I don't dislike him as a character. There was a lot of potential, but I feel like it could have been executed in a better way. Oh, and also another thing, if I'm getting real nitpicky, wish we got more temp jobs of Paige. Like, I almost forgot that she had temp jobs at the beginning of the season. And I thought it was really enjoyable. I'm not sure what you guys think, but I thought it was a very good way to get us some new, storylines, to get into contact with new innocents, to, make it feel, I know I like that she was convinced that she is having those random temp jobs or weird temp jobs so she could be in contact with an innocent that needed her help. So I wish we got a more of that, like maybe a little bit more, or that those episodes at the beginning were a little bit more spread out through the season, like not the exact episode but just the concept of her um dealing with something on a temp job, because it would have been too repetitive maybe if they would have done it even more, but just spread it out a little bit. um I think that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, removing three blondes. So now we're gonna go to the quiz section. I think we already had a few quiz questions, but we're gonna have even more quiz questions. Yeah. Before you knew that Chris was the son of Piper and Leo, what theories did you have about him? Did the infamous theories question. Yeah, I had some questions about people asking my theories, and I think I mostly answered like I don't really have theories. I'm very bad at theories, and I've embarrassed myself so many times with theories. So usually I don't really make theories unless the show is basically built upon them. With Charm, there were a lot of other things going on, so I wasn't that concerned about it. I just wanted them to give me the answer. Um, I mean, there was a part where Chris was, unless I'm going in the wrong episode order, but I remember something about Chris going to Wyatt, and Wyatt was, putting his shield back up, and Chris was saying something about one day you're gonna trust me. So I was like, okay, so they do have some kind of special connection. But I just thought, okay, they obviously know each other, or gonna know each other. But I never really thought in a family context. I thought that he would be maybe some kind of, I don't know, best friend of Chris. Like, to be honest, I was kind of debating whether I should say it or not. But if this would have been a modern show, then I might have even come up with the theory that maybe he will be like Wyatt's love interest. But that's very awkward with the information that we have now. Oh, why do I always have so many incestuous thoughts? Like, I didn't know about the family thing, so it doesn't count. But still. But yeah, I didn't really come up with theories, I think. I was always wondering, like, okay, so when we got the crisscrossed episode, I didn't notice that they were using the symbol, which name I still can't say. Tiquel bleu, I don't know, but the charm symbol, the charm, what I say, charm logo, the logo, the sign that's on their book, symbol. So I was a little bit taken aback, like, but then I thought, oh, they have to go to the chart one, so maybe they have to use that sign. Oh shit. Sorry. Maybe they have to use that sign, so they end up at the right house. Yeah. Like now that I have seen some clips again, I'm like, oh, those were definitely hints towards him being family. Like you guys mentioned, him being the one who closes the door at the end of the 5th season, or him being him commenting at the end of season 5 about the stuff in the attic and how they're always keeping so much stuff. How he looks into the Book of Shadows and be like, it's not the first time. So it was clear that he was familiar with them, familiar with the house. But I just didn't thought they would just dead ass comment like, oh yeah, he's another family member, he's another like Hallowell family member. I think it really helped that he isn't yeah, I don't know. I'm wondering, like, what if, but no, why would he even come back then? Nah. I don't know. I guess I'm just stupid. So no, I have to disappoint you. I didn't really have theories, but if this was a modern show, or I would have reacted to this modern show, then maybe I would have come up with the theory that they had some kind of relationship with each other. But that's not the case. If you watch the season, what clues on Chris' real identity would you pick up? Yeah. So I've seen some clips, but I haven't watched it, and a lot of things, like smaller things, I've forgotten. But with the help with Discord, there are some moments. I already said some moments, but also this subtle dig of Chris, of what was it again? like I forgot the episode, but there was like this scene where he was snarkily replying to Leo with dad, to make fun of him. But Leo's literally his dad, so that's very subtle. But I was kind of screaming about that on Discord. I'm always so overdramatic. Um, and also, Chris's reaction towards Leo telling him that he's not family. That's another. Like a big hit is that he's one of the few men who isn't interested in the charmed ones in a romantically or sexual or romantic way. That's a very big hint. I mean, most men are just basically pretty much drooling over them. Um, that was definitely for me, I guess, the biggest one, because I remember that I was a little bit confused by that, like, but I was mostly just relieved because at the time I couldn't stand it, so I was like, oh, at least we don't have to see him date one of them. um Probably forgot so many. What's another? hmm hmm oh yeah, him wanted to make, after the reveal even more, but even before the reveal, when that he was so utter, utterly shocked, maybe even like surprised, and didn't understand why Piper wanted to date, and he was constantly being so fuzzy about it. I was like, why are you so upset that she's dating while you don't care at all that like Phoebe is dating, or that Paige has some fling? So that is another like big hint. Like, I don't even understand why I didn't pay more attention, but I guess it helped that I didn't like him, so I didn't really want to think about him for a pretty long while. So that would have been something I will pick up. Um, Yeah, and of course, like the similarities with Prue, but that's the thing. He has a lot of similarities with Prue, and not as much as with Piper. I mean, other than the sassiness, like damn. um, so he has a lot of similarities with Prue, like not just the door and also the way he looks. But I think there's gonna be a question about that, so I'm not gonna answer that now. Uh, so I guess those are just clues, but I'm definitely, if I'm gonna watch the show, I think I'm gonna need to take a note, whatever. I'm like, that's a hint, huh, that's a hint. Do you think Prue and Chris have much in common? Apart from the blue eyes, similar personality, and shares of powers, starts the series and 3 seasons after Prue dies. After the death of Prue, another 3 seasons after Chris dies. What do you think of that? You also got a power of telekinesis. So yeah, you pretty much summed it all up. So thank you for that. So the answer is yeah, they do have a lot of common. And it also gave another layer to my sadness. Like, even if they wouldn't have looked like each other, I still would have felt as much for Chris as I feel now. But can't deny that there were instances after after people uh, you guys told me like, hey, do you notice something? Like, don't you think they look like each other? There were some moments where I looked at him and I was reminded of Prue, and then I got even more sad. I was like, I wish that we got to see, their interactions as well. But before that, like I already said it, people were telling me. I don't think if people would have told me that I like, other than physically resembling each other, after I started liking him, of course, before that I didn't even want to look at him. Um, I don't think, honestly, I don't think I would have even noticed that much. I'm just that bad at seeing that. I'm really a person who has to look a lot of things up, or has to read a lot of things, or have to read other people's their comments when I'm watching, like, not shows I'm reacted to, but just shows in general, to really pick up on things, even the most obvious ones. Um, so yeah, I do think they have a lot of common. No, I didn't pick up a lot of those, like telekinesis, for example. It was literally, I'm not sure if it was this comment or another, that was like, oh shit, wait a minute. So yeah, I didn't think about that before that. Um, think I'm more busy, linking him with Piper and Leo. I'm not really linking him with his other family members. Um, but that's still something I'm wondering. Like, I'm not sure. Maybe someone already answered this, so I'm sorry if someone already did. But was that on purpose or just a coincidence that they resemble so much each other? Like, was that on purpose? That's what I'm really wondering. Um, But what do I think of that? I mean, I appreciate it, of course. I mean, we know, you know, how much Prue means to me. You know that she's still my number one. Um, you know that I'm still, wondering like what if she would still have been here when there are important milestone moments, important family moments. Then I'm still thinking, like when the Y got born. I was just imagining like, oh, what if Prue was here? How would she have looked at him? How would she would have reacted? Maybe even forced herself to see Prue there. Um, so it's nice to see her, live on uh, in her, like in her niece, I believe. I think they will have gotten along. Yeah. So I like it. Messy answer, but I like it. Can you go through? Okay, let's do that again. Can you go through how your feelings of Chris started off, how it changed? I can do that. Not sure if it's gonna make me happy. um, so yeah, I mean, it started off at first just being confused when he showed up. We like, we okay? You're from the future. What's up with the glasses? um, what exactly is he doing here?
Don't look into her eyes.
What? 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 Who the heck are you? Pretty much thinking like, okay, I don't think he's up to any good. I think he's manipulating things, but I was a little bit like not too sure, on the fence, but okay. Then the end of season 5 happened, the final scene where Leo was orbing away and Chris like waved his hand and the orbing, it looked like it was exploding or something. Was it exploding? I think it was exploding or disappearing, one of the two. And at that moment, that was like, you made a mistake, boy. What the fuck did you just do? Then I despised them. I was so angry. I always get very worked up whenever I think that Chris, that Leo is gonna die or disappear or he's gonna be hurt. So I thought that I was scared that, I mean, I don't think I died, but I was worried that it would have some permanent consequences. So then I outright hated him. But then I got a little bit confused when I saw comments of people like, oh, my favorite character and this and that. And I was like, how can he be a favorite character while he's doing this? So that did influence me a bit because I thought maybe it's gonna be some big bad. But after seeing all those comments, I was like, okay, either it's going to be a popular, like, you can still have a big bad as favorite. But then I was kind of wondering, like, maybe there's more to him. So I didn't like him. Of course. Yeah. Why? I hated him at first. Well, hated.
Well, looks like we're one big happy family again. You're not family.
Mm-hmm. Don't try to forget that. Was annoyed by him at first. And then when we got to episode, like, with the dragon, which was after a week break, a break of a week, so I think I was in a very good mood, well rested. But those scenes with him and Leo, those were very fun scenes. With them running away from the dragon, the way they were talking to each other, the way how Chris was just like, oh my god, you're so old. And I remember being surprised that he actually made me laugh, made not like angrily laugh, but just made me have so much fun. And I liked this dynamic between the two of them. So then I was like, okay, he made me laugh, so I guess I don't hate him. Like, I still want to know what's up, but okay. And then when episode 10, Chris crossed, then I think with that episode, that was like the definitive moment where it was like, okay, I like this character. I'm not annoyed by him. I don't despise him. I like this character. He's making, he made a big sacrifice, leaving behind his fiance, trying to, I really saw it in my own eyes that he wants to prevent Wyatt from becoming evil. I mean, we had that twist. Wyatt wants to, no, not once. Wyatt is gonna have this special haircut and he's gonna be evil, and Chris wants to prevent that. So okay, you're on my team. It's good. So that's when I really started liking him, and then episode 14. That's the episode where I fell in love with him. I guess fell in love with this character, with Chris, and also started seeing, started appreciating the actor more. That that scene, like I said earlier, that where we saw his soft side when he was, trying to talk to Phoebe when she snapped out of her vision, snapped out of that whatever thing, and then at the end when we could just, even before he started talking, before he answered Phoebe's question about him being being Violet's little brother, we could already see in his face. We could already see the answer. We could already see it in his eyes. Yeah, that was like one of my most emotional reactions.
Are you Wyatt's little brother?
Oh my god.
Only if I can get Piper and Leo back together in time.
Oh my god. What the? Oh my god. That's definitely when I it was so fast, but like that, he went from, liking the character, feeling sympathy for him, like, oh my god, we must protect him at all costs character. Yeah, and then I just loved him for the duration of the season, and then they just, ripped him away from me. So that was fun. Yeah. So it's interesting. Once again, I want to thank you guys for not spoiling the fact that he's family, or like making this hint, like, or hinting at the fact that they're related or something. I mean, I know that you guys are very confused. Well, not confused, but like wondering, like, how hasn't she figured it out after episode 10? And I was like, what am I not figuring out? But it makes total sense, and it makes total sense. And this season is definitely going to have a special place in my heart. Not just because of the amazing storylines, but also that such a huge point, such a huge character that you guys didn't ruin the surprise. That really means a lot. And also that you guys were so patient about me hating him. I kept wondering after that, like, how the heck, like, weren't you guys mad at me? Like, how dare she talk about Chris that way? Like, you kept reminding yourself, like, she doesn't know, calm down. She doesn't know about Chris, calm down. And I mean, he was being shady at the beginning, you have to give me that, so, yeah. Now that you've seen all of season 6 and have gotten to know Chris, what are your overall feelings about him as a character? I would love to know more about your overall feelings towards him. Do you like his overall storyline and his drive to not only save his brother, but to save his relationship with everyone in his family? Yeah, like I said, he's my little baby now, basically. Like, I'm still a lot of times surprised about how there are not a lot of characters where we're feeling so drastically changed, So that's special about it. But so my overall feelings about the character are very good. It's he's definitely he feels like a very dynamic character, and they also did the reveal very good, because there were probably a lot of people who figured it out before the reveal, but I have to believe there were more people just like me who didn't really had any theories. So instead of a Gideon, contrary to Gideon, we found out with the charmed ones, with Phoebe, I guess. So that really, I think that was a very good move of the writers. I think they did a good job with building that up. Again, have to rewatch it to see how it really holds up everything. But I don't think there are a lot of, plot holes regarding that. I think like a little thing that I'm still a little bit like, what was up with that, is that he hooked up with one of his chargers, Leo gave him another charge for a while, and he hooked up with her. So when we had the crisscross episode, like, oh, you have a fiance and you care so much about her, and now you're hooking up with someone else. Like, I'm not sure what kind of conversation I had, and maybe he figured that she was already dead, or maybe he thought that, I don't know. I think that's the only thing like when I come up with now that I found a little bit inconsistent. Um, I mean, maybe he just wanted to hook up and nothing deep and all that, but I was a little bit like, I don't, that was a little bit, I was so confused, like, wait, he has a fiance? I thought it was a little bit like a womanizer. Like the season 1, not season 1, season 6 premiere, I understand because he was using the Valkyrie to manipulate her, so that's something else. So that's a little bit like, okay, weird for the storyline, but alright, it's not that big of a deal. And there were instances where like, do you really have to be that fake, or where I don't understand that he doesn't understand why Leo was so hostile against him. Why did you go to all that trouble to make sure that he would stay an elder for for such a long time, and then be surprised that that he breaks up, that Leo breaks up with that Leo and Piper aren't a couple anymore because that he's an elder, and you also sent him to this island with all those women, with all those warrior women. You doing all that. It was so messy. Like I have to rewatch that part. I have to rewatch those the beginning episodes and the end of season 5 to kind of know if it was all consistent, if it all makes sense. But I remember, like Jerry speaking, I think they did a good job. I don't think that there are moments where I'm like, it doesn't make sense that he, because I have heard that they weren't too sure about him in the beginning. I've read your comments and you said that in the beginning they were still debating whether they were gonna make, him a son of Piper, and if it's gonna be a son, is he going to be Wyatt, or are they going to make like a brother for Wyatt, or is he just going to be a shady white liar? So I'm happy that they already, even though they weren't too sure about it, that they already planting seeds in season 5, at the finale, to make sure that if they would have come to the conclusion that he should be their son, that it still makes sense and that it doesn't feel like some huge retcon. So I think they did great with that. So yeah, I like his overall storyline. Still conflicted about how his storyline ends, but I'm just happy that he came from the future with this mission, dead set on this mission, not really wanted to get too close with Piper, especially Piper, because she passes away in his future. He was I forgot how old he was, but she passed away when he was a kid, so it makes sense that he didn't want to be closer. He seemed, very distant from her, and it also makes sense later on why he was so angry against Leo. Not just because of the whole beginning of the season, but about what Leo would not do in the future. So he was very distant at the beginning, with all of them pretty much. But I like that we got to see him, warm up, seeing him enjoy that he can now spend the time with them, that he can, instead of living in this wasteland of a future, he can. Speaking of which, where the F did he sleep? Oh yeah, I remember again. Anyways, I appreciate that he got to spend time with them, and that they got to get to know him. I like that he was able to rebuild his relationship with Leo, especially in not just about the scene I was talking about, at the end, but also a little bit before the finale, I believe. Was it the episode before that? I don't know. That he was in this cell and that Leo broke him out, and he saw how passionate Leo was about it. And I was like, I'm not gonna let you stay. I'm not gonna let my son stay here. And how how touched Chris was that Leo called him his son and he called him dad. I liked that he started off a little bit cold and then turned, like, it wasn't, not to say that he was cold, but more, what I'm trying to say. I like that, seeing that develop, seeing him, like one of those highlights was definitely seeing him with his grandfather. It was just very heartwarming. So I like that he was, instead of just only like, we have to save Wyatt, I have to save Wyatt, I have to save Wyatt, he was also getting more and more, even though, it would hurt to not see them in the future, that he was still getting attached to them. Yeah, sorry for the bad answer. I did not expect to record that long, so my answers will become even worse. What was your favorite Chris moment or episode? Thanks so much. I love the pig. For those watching on YouTube, the comment is referring to a picture I put up on with my on Patreon. It was just a picture of me as a little, I guess, a little witch when I was 10 for a school play. Well, school play, school. How did you say that? School fest? I don't even know. So yeah, thank you so much. Hopefully I'll remind myself to put the picture in the video. And otherwise I'll find another way to show you. Yeah, favorite Chris mode episode. I mean, that's easy. It's episode 14, where he at the end tells, answers Phoebe's questions honestly, that he is in fact white little brother. That is my favorite Chris scene, and it's probably going to remain to be my favorite Chris scene. I know maybe it is a small scene, but to me it changed everything. That's definitely one of the charm scenes that has the biggest impact on me. What do you think of Chris not getting to see or live in the future you created? Yeah, I mean, sorry if I'm constantly repeating myself, but like I said, sad about it, but also appreciated that that the writers were willing to take it that far, and I have acknowledged that if he wouldn't have died, if he would have been able to get back to the future, I don't think this episode would have been as memorable. So his death leaded to so many great scenes, and it also really depends how they're gonna follow this up, because I do expect to Leo to get into trouble with the elders. I don't think they're going to just be like, oh, that's messed up, well, that's it. I guess for now the elders are gonna lift their butts and gonna do something about it. I don't think they're gonna sit back and just watch Leo building up his relationship with Piper. They're gonna do something. So depending, even it can have even more consequences. So I don't think it was a bad call. But I wished we got him something, like maybe even, I don't know, maybe even some kind of bonus fantasy scene for us. Some kind of special DVD where they give us some bonus scene, like, oh, buy this DVD, and then you have this scene where, like, what if he wasn't killed and he got brought to the future. It would have been nice to see that scene, but I understand that that it isn't a thing. But Chris is one of the most tragic stories I've witnessed, and yeah, I don't know. So conflicted, I guess. That's the final answer on that. Now we at the season 7 questions, and after that we're at the general questions. If I still survive. So season 7 questions. First question: season 7 predictions. I made some predictions throughout the review. Gonna try to not repeat them all. But yeah, other than that, Phoebe will probably get a love interest, and maybe it will be the love interest who, I mean, I'm not sure how focused they are on that future glimpse, but Phoebe was for a while obsessed with the whole, even using magic in the wrong way, which caused her to lose her powers. That she certainly had this desperate need about finding a guy who is gonna end up being the daddy of her niece, of her daughter, future daughter. So maybe we're gonna see that guy. Maybe we're gonna see that potential father. I don't know, because like you guys said, it's just the future at that point of time. The future can always change. It's not like the future of morality bites. It's still a thing. So yeah, but I do think that Phoebe's gonna get a love interest. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I'm gonna be in a bad mood again or not. Paige, yeah, I predict. Is she gonna have temp drops again or not? No, I already predicted that she's gonna be a teacher. Yeah, I think she's gonna be a teacher, like I said, of the magic school, maybe headmaster. Leo is gonna have to deal with the fallout of him killing Gideon. I think it's gonna be the focus of the first couple of episodes. We're gonna see more of white lighter elder politics. His wings are gone. Wait a minute, I didn't even thought about that. Oh my god. His wings are going to get clipped, I believe. Like, why would they not clip his wings after he killed an elder? So is he gonna be? So wait, he's gonna be human then? Wow. Wow, why did I even think about that earlier? So maybe he will be human, but I can't imagine. Nah. I can't imagine. I don't know. I'm just gonna make the prediction. Whatever. He's gonna turn human for a while, but I'm just not sure for how long. More prediction. More predictions. What about Piper? Yeah. I'm wondering if we're gonna see P3, a lot of times, because there were times where Piper wanted to get rid of it. I really hope she won't, but now she has two children. But at the same time, if Leo's wings are going to get clipped, then he can really help out, as long as it's going to be the only punishment. But I don't think so. I have a hard time believing the elders are just going to be okay with clipping his wings and be like, oh, now you can live as a human dad and enjoy spending some time with your sons. Yay! What a punishment. I don't know. Other things. Yeah, we're gonna see Barbas again because he's still walking around. I mean, I hope we're gonna see him again. I hope we're gonna see him again. Episode, so, nah, maybe it's wish list, but I'm gonna predict also that he's gonna show up again. And he's not gonna get permanently killed yet again. More predictions. More predictions. Yeah, Phoebe's gonna struggle with, struggle a little bit with not having all of her powers, but then she's gonna come to accept it, and then because she accepts it, and, maybe take some warranted risks doing something to save an innocent, she's gonna be rewarded with her powers back, but then she's not gonna not say that she's gonna not saying she is taken for granted, but just for a matter of speech, she's gonna not taking them for granted anymore. And she's still gonna be at work, still writing her columns. Not too sure whether she's gonna become even more famous or not. I'm hoping not. But I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up that she's gonna be even more famous. So that's also a prediction. And also, I predict that Wyatt, like, I don't want to think about it because, Jesus, imagine after all the things that Chris went through, that it would have been for naught. But I predict that we're gonna have some, like, maybe not evil, but shady Wyatt business. I don't know. Like, I fear that because of what Leo did, because the fact that Leo killed Gideon, that's gonna be this grief act, this grief act that is gonna be responsible for turning Wyatt evil. Like, it's not really 100% a prediction, maybe more like a season 7 fear. But I think that's a good note to end my predictions. So now we're at the final part of the review. I don't even want to know how long this review is already taking. Oh, I should have brought some water. But the final part is general questions. So questions I couldn't really fit into any of the previous categories, I guess. So yeah. This might be a personal question, and someone probably already asked this before, but how did you learn English since it's not your native language? I don't think anyone has asked me this before. I'm actually planning on doing a Q&A at some point. Maybe 1,000 subscribers. I know a lot of people do that. I don't know, like, if you guys would be interested though. But to answer your question, through subtitles from television shows and movies, and basically through school. I've been going to school in both the Belgium and in the Netherlands, and in both those countries, English is a mandatory subject. So I think I learned the most English from there. But also subtitles are very underrated in that aspect. As soon as I could read, I was already watching shows with subtitles. Also watching a few anime, which I was probably too young for. Which really helped me getting to know or understand the most commonly used words. So, a matter of fact, I don't really need subtitles when I'm watching shows, but I still use them for reactions because it's a little bit harder to react to things and saying your thoughts out loud while you first have to translate your thoughts kind of in your head, while at the same time understanding what they're saying in the show. Plus, if I'm talking over a scene, I can still read what's going on, you know? But generally speaking, I think I'm pretty good at understanding English. Writing English, speaking English, I manage. I mean, you guys have. I mean, it seems you understand what I'm saying most of the time. Thank you. So yeah. So I wouldn't say I'm fluent in English, but I'm also not gonna say that I'm bad at English. I'm just happy that I am able to speak English. You know, I'm just happy that I'm able to speak English so I can make these reactions. You know, for more people, and not just the few people in the Netherlands or Belgium. The story behind that picture. Yeah, like I said, it's the picture from when I was 10 and we had to dress up, me and my class, as witches. But unfortunately, I don't really remember the context. I don't really remember what we had to do. Either we had to do some witchy dance or we had to do some witch performance, maybe acting something out. But we had this yearly school festivals, I believe. And yeah, at that time, I guess that was our team. But thank you for asking. In what order would you put the seasons you've seen so far? Yeah, like one of you asked me to do this in the order of what I like the most to like the least, and the other one asked the opposite. So I'm not sure how to answer. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm just gonna go with what I like the most first. Just keep in mind, it's what I'm thinking now. It changes all the time. I don't even remember what my ranking was from the previous review, but you can check that out if you're curious. So, the season I like the most at this moment, at this precise moment, is season 1. Season 1. I just really love how grounded that season felt in comparison to the other seasons. There was also a very big focus on the relationship between the sisters, on their dynamic and a development on how, you know, seeing them grow together, not just growing in how they become better witches or developing the power, but also growing in the, you know, as a person, and growing into how they perceive each other and how they get along with each other, you know, especially Phoebe and Prue, but not just them, also Piper. And, you know, also very proud of Piper development in that season. You know, they're still developing the other seasons, but in the first season it's more, I guess, easy to see the development, especially with Piper, who had a hard time with speaking up for herself and being bossed around at the work. Speaking of which, sometimes I do miss her old job at the restaurant. Like, I love P3, but I don't know, sometimes I miss that job. I also really like seeing Prue at her work, and I know that's not just in the first season. I know, just with the restaurant, I believe, but it felt so different from the other seasons. It's the season that, you know, made me fall in love with the show. I think it's very underappreciated. I think it's a very good first season. I definitely, you know, in my opinion, it's definitely better than, you know, for example, Buffy's first season. And I also, you know, like those creatures like the Wendigo. That's still one of my all-time faves. I keep saying it. And the finale made it clear that, you know, Charmed is not fucking around. Yeah, they're not afraid to kill off characters, and even though they did that to Andy, I still didn't expect that the same would happen to, you know, his love of his life a little bit later. I don't know. I just love that season, but you know, we'll see how that ends up if I, you know, after I watch the show. Second most favorite season, and this is gonna be controversial, I think, but at this moment, it's season 6. Yes, it's season 6. Hopefully you're not gonna be screaming at me like, what are you thinking? Second most favorite? Yes! I really enjoyed this season, and I'm not really ranking them in order of like best writing wise or quality wise, because I have to rewatch it a lot more times to decide that. But for me, it seemed in fact of enjoyment the most consistent. There was only one episode I didn't like. Other episodes I believe I all liked, or at least was like, okay, you know, it was okay. Um, like I said, overarching storyline. We had this development with Chris, but we had again a very big focus on family. I think that's why I also like it. Season one had a big focus on them at the sisterhood, I guess. I'm not sure if that's a thing, that word. While the season six, we had this very big focus on Chris and Leo and Piper, but not just for those three, but because of the whole thing with Wyatt, it also brought, I guess, Paige and Phoebe. I don't know, the whole family felt so closely knitted again. Like, I'm not saying that's not the case with the previous seasons, but it just felt. I just like that focus. I just like, when I'm watching Charmed, I just really appreciate those family-centered moments. Other than Piper and Leo, maybe it sounds weird because I'm always what? Oh, sorry, I thought someone was knocking on my door. I'm nagging about love interest, but Leo is an exception for me. He's just part of the family. He's family. He's part of the family. Not just because they were married and all that, but he's just family. So I always live for their relationship. Also, if they're not together, he's still part of them. He's still, and especially now, with the sons. Season 6 just brought it back home to me. Season 6, maybe because, not that I say that season 5 is bad, but maybe because I didn't enjoy season 5 as much. And, again, I have to watch it. There were some, I guess, days where I was not feeling it. So, but I just enjoyed season 6 a lot more than season 5. And, yeah. I mean, there are definitely seasons who have more standout or memorable episodes. But just overall, season 6 just killed it for me. And then I have season 3. And I always have a hard time deciding between season 3 and season 2. But I picked season 3 over season 2. So you already know the season 2 is after this. Mainly because it felt... I think it was more inconsistent than season 3. It also didn't help that we had that's very forgettable Dan and... What was this girl, Jenny? Like, I like Dan I forget pretty much all the time, but with Jenny, I didn't even know she existed. Like, I was literally reminded of Disco that she was a thing. Like, oh wow. Like, the whole love triangle, like, it actually made me, well, I wouldn't say dislike, but I guess didn't like Piper as much as I used to with that whole love triangle nonsense and how, she was handling that. And we also had that weird animal episode, so it was a little bit experimental, but there were also very strong episodes like Morality Bites. And personally, I really liked the episode where Prue was getting stuck in that painting. I don't know. Season 2 has a lot of strong standout moments, memorable moments, but season 3 felt more consistent to me. And I liked Cole as a character at the beginning, and Cole was definitely at his best in this season. And I liked this whole, even him being this mysterious about, you're supposed to be the bad guy, but why are you not? You had moments where he could have done something to Phoebe, but he didn't. Even though I was never as invested in their relationship, there were still interesting moments, and the two actors, I do think they played off each other well. So I don't know. So yeah. So like I said, season 1, season 6, season 3, season 2, and then we have season 4. Season 4. The first episode was hard to watch because I didn't know about Prue no longer being in the show, Prue being basically killed off Scream because of a whole lot of drama. But let's not get into that. So the first episode was hard to watch for me. I was not really feeling it. I was not really feeling Paige. I was quite mad at Paige because I was afraid that she would replace Prue, and I think I even got a little bit upset about her power, even though it was not totally the same, but still. But to my surprise, rather quickly they managed to make Paige feel a natural part of the group, and I it didn't take me that long to believe that she is truly, one of them, that she is truly a Hallowell's sister. Um, and there were some parts like this switch episode that I did too early, where Phoebe and Paige were switching bodies, and I still believe it wasn't the right call. They should have, if they had to do that episode, they should have waited a little bit longer. But overall, I think it was a strong introduction, and we got a good grasp of the character, especially when we got to see her past with her adoptive parents and with the car crash, and her being, having like being that she was an alcoholic. That was also, before that, they were very subtle about that. But I think I did pick that up. Like, wait a minute, didn't she say something about that she doesn't drink? So and the second half season 4 is pretty much like a roller coaster. It's the whole, Phoebe becoming this evil queen, and Cole becoming the source, and there are definitely a lot of elements of that storyline that they could have executed better. And I understand that it frustrates a lot of people, and I do feel that, especially going to season 5, that they should have more compassion for Cole, because he was being, as far as I understand, being taken over by the source. But yeah, season 4, I thought, good introduction of the Paige character, and the ending was like a freaking roller coaster, which was a blast to watch and a blast to share my thoughts on. So I don't know. I like that season. I think it's a season that maybe if the rewatch I'm gonna rank higher. I think I'm gonna have to rewatch it. I mean, I have to watch every season, but and then lastly, season 5. I mean, I don't think that's a surprise. I don't think season 5 is bad, but there were just I think too many episodes in comparison to other seasons that I didn't enjoy. I just thought that it was too wacky. I had a hard time making this transition, and I know that some people think that I take things too seriously all the time. Yeah, I respectfully disagree. I watch more shows where people would think that those are cheesy or that they're going too over the top, while I don't have a problem with that, and I'm just having a good time. So I respectfully disagree. I think with Charmed, there are just some cases for me where it's not executed that well, or I'm just having trouble with adjusting that the show has changed in comparison to the earlier seasons. I mean, they have a different showrunner, in comparison to what I'm saying. They have a different showrunner. It's not weird that there are going to be elements that I don't enjoy as much, elements that the new showrunner introduces or that the new showrunner was a fan of. And I'm definitely a little bit less annoyed when we see some mystical characters. And it's not like I have a problem with mystical characters in general. It kind of depends. I don't think I had a problem with the Lady in Water with the Excalibur thing. I didn't have a problem with the dragon. It's just like the Leprechaun episode. I'm sorry. Maybe the idea itself is just nah. So I don't think I have a trouble with things that are really out there. I think I just have a problem that sometimes I remember, like what I said, like season 1 that felt pretty grounded, even though we had like for crying out loud, like I said, we had a Vendigo in season 1. Like, isn't that like how isn't that too weird? And I still enjoyed that. So it's not. I don't think it's about me taking things too seriously. Like I'm not saying that I never think things too seriously, because I know I can, but it's just, I don't know. There's some elements that the transition could have been better. A little bit less sudden, a little bit less like, wow, now we're gonna do some wacky stuff. So yeah, season 5. I'm not saying it's a bad season, but I do remember enjoying it the least. Still having a good time, but in comparison to other seasons, enjoying it not as much as them. Do you think it has changed since the first seasons? I think I already answered that pretty much. So yeah, it has changed, like I said. It's not per se a bad thing. There are some things I prefer, but it's, on the other hand, if they wouldn't change things, would it still be enjoyable? Would it feel too samey? By them changing things, even taking the risk that sometimes there will be an episode that some people won't like, they do manage to keep things fresh, and that's very difficult. I don't think I watched that many shows with so many seasons. I don't think so, and definitely this time we don't have that much. But yeah, they managed to keep it fresh. I think I would have been bored out of my mind I mean, I don't know if it would have kept it totally the same and it wouldn't innovate of anything. I like that they're willing to experiment, but I also don't want to be afraid to say whenever I believe that it didn't work. You know, I'm not saying that it's that is a fact. If I say that I don't like an episode, that doesn't mean that the episode is bad. I don't have the final say or something. I'm not qualified at all. I'm just a random girl filming herself and sharing her thoughts in the show. I'm nobody. Um. So, but I'd rather have some episodes where I'm like, what the hell is this, than having none of those episodes and just everything be like samey. I want to continue to be surprised. I want to look forward to like, okay, what are we gonna do now? What kind of adventure are we gonna have? What are we gonna jump into? And Charmed is being very successful at that. And that has to be one of the main reasons why it had this amount of seasons. I mean, there are 8 seasons. That's pretty much right. That's pretty big. So yeah, it has changed, but I think overall it's good. From what you have seen from the series, what do you think of the whole series so far? It's a good series. I'm glad that I gave it a try. I'm glad that I saw that a lot of Buffy fans were also Charmed fans, which was the huge factor of me, deciding to give Charmed a try. I was surprised at the weird reactions for it because I feel like it's pretty popular. I mean, at least I remember that it wasn't TV like in the Netherlands and in Belgium. A lot of times, even when it was already I think off air when I was pretty young, but I never watched it. So I was surprised at the red reactions. So I was a little bit like, why aren't there no reactions? I know that it's pretty beloved, and I don't think it's overrated. Maybe sometimes underrated, and I think I underestimated the show a little bit at the beginning. Like I assumed, I was hoping I was gonna have a good time watching it, but I do believe that I thought that it was gonna be more superficial. But there have been very intense, not as intense, but there have been very deep character interactions or some character growth. This show definitely offers more. A lot of times offers more than just some, I guess, silly entertainment. So that I do think that I underestimated that. I do think someone pointed out that, oh, remember when you were like at the beginning and you were like, oh, no resistance are going to die. I mean, we have 8 seasons. Ha! Well, look at that. Look at what happened. I definitely understand why it's a huge part of a lot of people their lives. I didn't grow up with the show, but it still feels like a very big part of my life. And definitely happy that I was able to share it. But even then, this is definitely not a show that is just gonna be forgotten after I finish it. This is definitely a show that you can also keep watching, finding new things, and reanalyze. And I don't know. Like even if they do have a lot of standalones, they still I do think it's gonna be fun to watch it again and again. I don't think the show is gonna bore me that easily. But hey, maybe I'm cursing myself. I don't know about the next seasons. Maybe I'm gonna be like, oh, this again. I don't know. What do you think that there are only 44 episodes left until the end of the series? Will you miss the series? Of course I will miss the series. Of course. I had this question, a few times, and I always uncomfortable because I don't really like to think about, the show ending. I've been doing this for quite a long time. Oh my god, I think I started when was it? Was it in November or September? Like September or November of 2018. That's such a long time. All that time, I finished college while watching the show. I started and kind of stopped with university while watching the show. I found this whole new side of me while watching the show. Also gained more confidence while sharing my thoughts and finally believing that you guys, that there are actually people who think that what I think is valuable. So it's very important. Like I don't want to get emotional. I want to stay happy, you know. But I just want to keep in mind that even if the show is over, the show does disappear. I can always rewatch it and I can always talk about it. And I'm happy that there are still comic books, and I am thinking about, you know, whether I should delve into them after the show, and whether, you know, if I should still share my thoughts on the on Charmed. So yeah, what do I think? I'm sad that there are only 44 episodes, but I'm also excited about, you know, figuring out how they're gonna end the show. Um, what else is in store? Are they gonna, you know, after season 6, are they gonna go even more for like long story arcs? Are they gonna stick with that or not? How will characters end up? Um, you know, in the finale, are we gonna do some kind of flash forward and see them so many years to the future? Maybe see Chris. I don't know. So sad and excited. Um, but let's focus on the excited part. How do you think Prue's power would have progressed had she remained alive? Uh, we have a difficult question again. Yeah. Like, I really want to say I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Like, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I don't even know what to say. I want to say something, but like I do like that someone pointed out that that um, it would make more sense for Prue to have the power to levitate, instead of it would have made more sense if Prue would have the power to levitate, and Phoebe would have had the power to you know, astral projection, as she will do later on the show. So I guess levitating. Yeah, I'm gonna maybe that's the easy way out, but I'm gonna say levitating. That will make I agree that would make more sense, and it would look pretty badass. And I mean, there were moments where it was like, wait, you're pretty much levitating, if I remember correctly. Um, so other than that, I don't know. I have to look more into. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm getting tired. Paige with blonde or brown hair. I have to be honest, I'm a little bit confused with the blonde hair because I almost forgot, like, was she blonde, or do you mean when she had red hair? Like, if she had blonde hair, I already forgot. So assuming you mean like red hair, I prefer red hair. I think she looked the most beautiful with red hair, but she looks always beautiful so also with brown hair. And if you don't meet red hair, then I'm gonna choose brown hair. So either brunette or a redhead. Which sister is currently which sister is currently your favorite? My favorite sister at this moment is again Piper. Um, I think because I'm so invested into Piper and Leo, that's easier for me to choose Piper as my favorite. Because I also really like Paige, and I also care about Phoebe. But I don't know. Maybe because I had too high expectations of Paige. Because a lot of you, and I understand why, but a lot of you were like, you know, Paige is very reminds them of Prue, and I understand. I see what you're saying, but somehow, even though that's the case, I don't think I like her as much as you guys thought I would like her. So it's still Piper for me. I think mainly because of the actress. You know, everyone is doing great, but I do think that Holly is the best of the three of them in terms of acting, so that helps a lot. So I'm gonna go with her. I think, yeah, I'm gonna go with Piper. And then we arrived at the last question. This is gonna be fun to edit. Oh my god. Have you noticed how incredible the artwork in the Book of Shadows is? Yes, and thank you for asking me that question, because when I read that, I was like, oh my god, now have I ever appreciated the artwork on camera? I don't think so, but I appreciate it very much. It's very well done. It's very beautiful. I actually would like to own the Book of Shadows. I have something in my Buffy collection. Like, I have this making of a Slayer, and they also, like, this contains artwork from the show. I'm not sure if I can pull it out now. Yeah, I don't know. This was just like a rough sketch, like one of the characters made in the show, but they made like this replica of it. But anyways, what I'm trying to say with this is that I would love, I love collecting things like that. So I'm hoping that I can one day afford to buy like a prop or replica of the Book of Shadows. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go for a highly detailed one because unfortunately still haven't won the lottery yet. But I would love to own something like it. I don't know, maybe they have some kind of light version of it. Maybe they have some kind of light version of it. Less expensive version. But the artwork is very beautiful, and I love whenever we have this new demon villain, even the weird, ice cream dude thing. I like those drawings, and I look forward to watching them. I kind of wish we got to see it even more, or they lingered a little bit more in it. Sometimes it feels a little bit too short for me. I want to see it more. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Just this show. Okay, that was cheesy. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Oh wait, no. What am I saying? I'm not gonna end it here. It's gonna be even longer. So here we have it again, season 6, and I'm happy that I took the advice that I shouldn't look at the DVD box art before and after. Like this is not really spoiling anything. But the back though, like I'm not sure if it's the same for each language because I'm reading like the Dutch version, but the amount of spoilers, like I'm surprised they're not even mentioning Chris at this point. Like, why do they have to say so many random episodes? They're literally talking about the deadly female warriors, the hungry spider demon, how Phoebe accidentally turns into a genie, Paige traveling back into time with her magical go-go boots, the reality TV show. Like, why? It's not necessary. Stop. But I really love this color though. Like, this is so beautiful, the red color. I think of the colors so far, we had purple, orange, green? Is that green? Or blue? No, blue. Purple, orange, blue, pink, green. I think my favorites are the pink one. You can see them there. Are the pink one and the red one. It's stunning. I love this. I mean, you probably already have this, but I'm still showing you because I don't know. I'm tired. This is such a long recording. Oh my god. We have this little booklet as we have with each season. And before someone is wondering, I own each season, but I asked my mom to hide the season I haven't watched yet. So I do have all 8 seasons already because it would be a little bit too expensive to just buy each season separately. But I already bought them. I think I bought the first 3 seasons separately, and after that I bought the remaining ones in one go. And they're all secondhand, by the way. But then we have this little booklet, some pictures. This picture, I wish I could erase it. Oh, Chris. And the description. More pictures. Yeah, my webcam is such good quality. Living! Oh my god, that picture of Daryl though. Oh my god, that's so cute though. That's so freaking cute. Let's go to this side first. Can you focus, webcam? Can you please focus? No, we're not gonna focus. Focus! No, it doesn't want to focus, so that sucks, but Spider Chick. The mirror versions. Is there more? No, I guess that's it. Symbol. And then here, is that the same? No, that's a different picture. Like, wait, is it the same as the back? Oh yeah, it's the same picture as the back. Then we have this here. Beautiful. Again, beautiful. Like, it's the same format as the previous. Can I please, without ripping it, like the previous season? It's literally the same, but I appreciate that. We stand consistency. In this house, we stand consistency. So it's a great fit in my I don't even know. I can't speak English anymore. All right. So now, I think we pretty much finished. So, just a heads up for the patrons. Next time, if I'm gonna ask for season questions, there's probably going to be a limit, just to make sure that don't get me wrong, I'm very happy that you're all enthusiastic, but I really underestimate the amount of questions, and I didn't expect to be recording for such a long time. I'm so tired. But I hope you're happy with my answers. But just saying, just a heads up, so that you don't get too surprised if next time I'm gonna be something like max like 2-3 questions or something per person, just to make this video a little bit shorter and to make me a little bit less like a zombie. But yeah, this was a very good season. I'm excited for the next season. I'm excited for more Charmed, and I don't want to think about it, having only 2 seasons. Let's not. All right. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye.